Greetings and welcome to the Phase 1 and Phase 2 training of our coordinated entry system. First things first, what is a coordinated entry system? A coordinated entry system streamlines the process of finding housing for those who are homeless or are in need of services. A functioning coordinated entry system implements the no wrong door approach. A no wrong door approach means that a person experiencing a housing crisis can enter Mock's coordinated entry system when they walk into any agency. When it comes to our coordinated entry system, our goal should be to help people find the help they need quickly with as few stops as possible and to avoid entering the shelter system if they currently have a safe place to stay. So let's use a scenario where we use the no wrong door approach before going into phase 1. So a person enters or calls your agency looking for housing help. There are several questions you could ask to get more information on their housing status. You could ask them where they slept last night or if they have a safe place that they could stay tonight. These questions will help you determine if this person needs to be referred to an emergency shelter or if you need to explore other resources and housing options that can be used. With the no wrong door approach, you should try to help this person by using referrals or providing them with information for further assistance. Whether the person has a safe place to stay for the night and is just still in need of some assistance, or if they need to go to an emergency shelter, you would still need to begin phase 1. Phase 1 is the initial stage for getting the person in need of services into our coordinated entry system. During phase 1, you would need to get the person's name, social security number, vet status, date of birth, gender, and other basic information. If you do not have HMIS, you would need to go to sc211.org to find resources to help with their immediate housing crisis. Help them understand how to access the facility, what to bring, and how to get there. This information should be listed in the 211 database. Next, you would need to complete a paper mock coordinated entry system phase 1 referral form. This form can be found on the mock website. So here's how you would find the referral form on the mock website. Try to get as much information as possible from the person before sending the referral as to decrease the times the person will have to share their story. Be sure to ask for contact information as this is sometimes the only way an agency can contact the individual. Once you have completed the referral form, submit the referral form to the designated HMIS user in your agency to enter in the information. If you do not have HMIS, congratulations! You have just completed phase 1 of coordinated entry system by completing the referral form and making a referral. The referral can be faxed or submitted electronically. If you use HMIS, you can enter the information for phase 1 and phase 2 directly into HMIS. First things first, you'll need to see if the person is already entered into HMIS. You would ask the person for their first and last name and social security number. There may be several people in HMIS with the same name, so it's easier to ask for the person's social security number and date of birth. If the person is in the system, you would select the person's name and begin with phase 1. Even though phase one begins under the mock coordinated entry system, you still would need to complete the client record and client demographic section because it gives us some information that would be very beneficial to us as we're trying to assist the client with receiving services and providing them with resources. So make sure you're finishing up client record and client demographics before going on to phase one. Also, there may be situations where a client has already used some services in our continuum, so there may already be some information. If so, you would still need to ask them the questions to make sure that we update it if it needs to be updated. So, phase one basically gives us information on the person's last place of residence and where they're currently living. Remember to enter the county the person is currently living in. If they are not originally from the county or state that your agency is in, you may also enter that information as well as questions that give us more information on what brings them to South Carolina or to MOC, our 14 counties. As I stated earlier, the client and case manager contact information is very important as this is sometimes the only way an agency can reach out to a person. So you want to make sure that you have this information filled out. So if you're interested in adding the contact information for the person, this is how you would do it. We also need to ask them where is it easiest to find them and what time would it be easiest to find them. So there are times when people, their phones might be disconnected or they may not even have a phone, and we still want to try to reach out to them and do contact attempts. So they might not check their email address. The next best thing after telephone and email address is to know where they usually are. So that's where you would fill this part in at. Now that we have completed phase one, we can move on to phase two. Phase two asks more in-depth questions about the person, their housing status, and homelessness history. And of course, these were already completed, but for the sake of the training, we're just going to go through and fill them out. If you ever want to look at the history of any of the questions to see if anyone has already answered them, you just click on this green square rectangle thing, and that'll show you. It'll show you what day the information was entered, who entered it, and the provider adding the information. And even though we're going to go through and answer the questions, I'm going to briefly go over some of the sections. So for phase two, this is where you would put your information. You're the interviewer, the name of your agency, the day that you're doing the VI SPDAT, and we're going to talk about that later on. The date of birth auto-populates from the client profile and demographics at the top before you did phase one. Household type, relationship to head of household. So if the person who you're talking to is has a household with children, but they're the person that you're talking to, they would be self. Disabling conditions. This gives you more information on their homelessness history. And then also Housing status, the continuum of care for us would be MOC. If the individual is interested in relocating to other counties, answer there. And if they're interested in having a roommate, you'd be able to answer there. So this section just verifies their veteran status, and it can be verified by their DD-214, a VA medical card. Someone from the VA can verify, and if you can't verify it at the moment, you would just click not verified. Now, there might be times where someone says they are a veteran and you find out that they were dishonorably discharged. You would just change the information in there, in the system. So now that we've completed phase one and most of phase two in HMIS, it's now time to talk about the VI SPDAT. So, what is a VI SPDAT? The VI SPDAT is a pre-screening tool that is designed to be used by all providers within a community to quickly assess the health and social needs of homeless persons and match them with the most appropriate support and housing interventions that are available. So, in a nutshell, the VI SPDAT helps us prioritize which clients should receive what type of housing and assistance intervention. So, which VI forms do we use for MOC? We use the 2.0 version, and we have 3 different types of VIs that we use with MOC. We use the 2.0 for single adults, the 2.0 for families, so that could be households with children and households without children. And then we have the 2.0 for youth, and that's individuals that are 24 and younger. We have the paper form that can be done if you're doing outreach or you don't have access to a computer, and then the electronic form that it can be found in HMIS. So let's take a quick look at the different forms in HMIS, and I'm going to just scroll up for a second so you can see. As you can see, we're still in the client profile, still under phase 2. So this is the version 2.0, the VI SPDAT for single adults. This is the VI SPDAT 1.0, so we no longer use this version, so you don't even have to worry about that one. This is the family VI SPDAT for the households, and then we have the youth VI. So there you go. When you're doing the youth VI SPDAT, there are additional questions for youth right below the youth VI SPDAT. And there you have it. Now that you have completed phase 1 and phase 2 training for our coordinated entry systems, please view the VI SPDAT training for the populations you serve. Thank you.